It's good to have you join us on AD4TV Radio News Update, coming to you live from Abuja, Nigeria's federal capital. I am Merciful Ajinomo. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari, speaking in the national broadcast this Monday, has extended the lockdown in Lagos State, Ogun State and Abuja for another 14 days, starting 11:59 p.m. this Monday. The president urged Nigerians to support the government in the fight against COVID-19, saying the pandemic is not a joke but a thing of life and death. He added that the register of persons eligible for social intervention be expanded from 2.6 million households to 3.6 million in the next 2 weeks. He, however, commended the level of compliance to the lockdown order by the citizens.
Our approach to the virus remains in 2 steps. First, to protect the lives of our fellow Nigerians and residents living here, and second, to preserve the livelihoods of workers and business owners. With this in mind, and having carefully considered the briefings and report from the Presidential Task Force and the various options offered, it has become necessary to extend the current restriction of movement in Lagos and Ogun states, as well as the FCT, for another 14 days, effective from 11:59 p.m. on Monday, 13th of April 2020. I am therefore once again asking you all to work with government in this fight. This is not a joke. It is a matter of life and death. I have also directed that the current social register be expanded from 2.6 million households to 3.6 million households in the next 2 weeks. This means we will support an additional 1 million homes with our social investment programs. A technical committee is working on this and will submit a report to me by the end of this week. Fellow Nigerians, I have no doubt that by working together and carefully following the rules, we shall get over this pandemic and emerge stronger in the end. I thank you all for listening, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, this Monday called for cooperation from all sectors in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic in Nigeria. Mustafa made the call while receiving volunteer personnel, ambulances, buses, ventilators and other medical equipment donated by Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency to the federal government. He praised the agency for the gesture and advised other organizations and well-meaning Nigerians to emulate and support the efforts to curb the spread of the pandemic. In a similar development, the Nigeria Air Force has commenced the distribution of oxygen produced at its liquid oxygen plant to coronavirus isolation centers in the country. According to the World Health Organization, oxygen therapy is the major treatment intervention for patients with severe symptoms of coronavirus. It advised all countries with such cases to optimize the availability of pulse oximeters and medical oxygen systems. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control said as of Sunday night that 85 patients have been discharged from amongst the over 300 confirmed cases in Nigeria. You're watching AD4TV Radio News Update, coming to you live from Abuja, Nigeria's federal capital. We'll go on a short break now. More stories when we return. Do stay.
Coronavirus, they really make you do what you fit today, can't wait. Now the cocoa thing where you owe yourself be that because it's better to survive than for water to run your eyes. Oh yeah, waka boom boom, begin the use hand sanitizer, special mask, and not green for gun body at all for anywhere, especially where people boku, clear road, arrange yourself, keep social distance and practice good hygiene for house and surroundings. Do what the government tell you, sit down for house and make it for no loss. Coronavirus dey, so make we gree together, waka fight like a kozuna.
My appeal to Nigerians is that please, let's obey the social distancing. let us obey the personal hygiene. Wash your hands. Don't go into congregation, and within 2 weeks, you go back and resume your normal life. If we don't do the right thing, we are going to face a disaster that we will not be able to handle.
This message now from the news agency of Nigeria, NAN. They can't pay.
Welcome back. Still on coronavirus, the Kano state government has commenced fumigation of places its index case of coronavirus visited in the state before testing positive. The special advisor to Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje on media, Salihu Yakasai, who confirmed the commencement of fumigation in the state, said the exercise is being coordinated by the Commissioner of Environment, Dr. Kabiru Ibrahim. Armed robbers and miscreants have started breaking into homes to rob innocent citizens of their valuables in Lagos State, Nigeria, as the coronavirus continues to spread and the harsh economic effect of the presidential lockdown order bite hard on Lagos residents. The robberies, which were said to have started in the wake of the lockdown order, intensified and over the weekend as suspected armed robbers, numbering at least 30, invaded the areas. The police have, however, arrested 2 suspects, while others managed to escape. On the foreign scene, the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has tested negative to COVID-19. According to his spokesman this Monday, testing after leaving hospital was standard medical practice. Johnson, who spent a week in hospital, including several days in intensive care after contracting the virus, said he owed his life to the medical staff who treated him. And US President Donald Trump retweeted a call for the sacking of the administration's top infectious disease specialist, Dr. Anthony Fauci, who is leading the government's coronavirus response. The apparent condemnation came after Fauci, head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, said in a television interview that earlier social distancing and stay-at-home orders from the administration could have saved more lives. In another development, Turkey's Minister of Justice Abdulhamid Gül has confirmed the deaths of 3 Turkish prisoners from COVID-19 this Monday, as he announced the first cases of convicts diagnosed with the disease. According to the minister, a total of 17 convicts in 5 open prisons have contracted the virus. 3 of them unfortunately died during their treatment in hospital. He added that the country has nearly 57,000 coronavirus infections and around 1,200 deaths. The Democratic Republic of Congo this Saturday buried a patient who died of Ebola in Benin. The deceased, who is reported to be 26 years old, is the first case of Ebola infection after 52 days of respite for the country. According to the victim's parents, the patient was asymptomatic and they had not once suspected Ebola until Friday. As of Monday, April 13, the World Health Organization Africa region reported that vaccination for Ebola had begun in parts of Benin for Ebola. Meanwhile, former Ivorian international footballer Didier Drogba has availed his private hospital for use as a government coronavirus facility. The head of Abidjan's regional council, Vincent Tobire, thanked Drogba for the gesture, which he described as patriotic, stressing that the facility will be very useful in the fight against coronavirus once it is functional. Still on COVID-19, Ethiopia began its first working day after restrictions put in place by a state of emergency declared to combat the coronavirus pandemic were announced over the weekend. The announced restrictions include a ban on gatherings of more than 4 people, unless there is an absolute necessity, in which case permits need to be acquired from authorities. Handshakes are also not allowed, and people are now required to wear masks in public. Additions, public transport operators have to cut their seat occupancy by half, while hotels and restaurants are not allowed to have more than 3 customers on the table.
Coronavirus, they really make you do wetin you fit today, can't pay. Now the cocoa thing where you owe yourself be that, because it better to survive than for water to run your eyes. Oya waka boom boom begin the use hand sanitizers, facial mask, and not gree for gun body at all for anywhere, especially where people boku. Clear road, arrange yourself, keep social distance and practice good hygiene for house and surroundings. Do wetin government tell you, sit down for house and make it for no loss. Coronavirus dey, so make we gree together, waka fight am like a Kozuna.
I'm appeal to Nigerians is that please, let's obey the social distancing. let us obey the personal hygiene. Wash your hands. Don't go into congregation, and within 2 weeks, you go back and resume your normal life. If we don't do the right thing, we are going to face a disaster that we will not be able to handle.
This message now from the news agency of Nigeria, NAN. They can't pay.
In talking sports, the manager of English Premier League football club Crystal Palace, Roy Hodgson, insists the league season must be played to a finish after the COVID-19 shutdown is over instead of using artificial means to decide the champions. Football in England has been suspended since March 13 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Hodgson said teams might have to accept increased safety restrictions and may play more games in a shorter period when play resumes. That's it on AD4TV Radio News Update, coming to you live from Abuja, Nigeria's federal capital. You can join the conversation on our social media platforms at AD4TV Radio on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn and Instagram. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at AD4TV Radio. Many thanks for watching. I am Merciful Ajinomo.